The D-Day invasion, known as Operation Overlord, stands as one of the most complex and significant military operations of World War II. Taking place on June 6, 1944, it marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany's occupation of Western Europe. The operation was the culmination of years of planning and coordination among the Allied forces, involving multiple nations, countless soldiers, and an intricate series of logistical efforts. Planning for Operation Overlord began in earnest as early as 1943, following the Casablanca Conference, where Allied leaders decided on a cross-channel invasion as a key strategy to defeat Nazi Germany. The task was monumental. The Allies needed to amass an invasion force capable of breaking through Hitler's Atlantic Wall, a series of fortifications stretching along the coast of Europe. Choosing the landing site was a critical decision. While the Pas de Calais was the closest point to Britain, it was also the most heavily defended. Instead, the Allies selected the Normandy coast, which was less fortified and offered a better chance for a successful landing. Operation Overlord was divided into several phases, each requiring meticulous planning. The first phase involved the gathering of intelligence. Reconnaissance flights, reports from the French resistance, and other forms of espionage were used to map German defenses and identify key targets. The Allies also employed Operation Bodyguard, a comprehensive deception strategy designed to mislead the German High Command about the true location and timing of the invasion. This involved the creation of fake armies, false radio traffic, and double agents, all aimed at convincing the Germans that the invasion would occur at Pas de Calais or even Norway. As D-Day approached, the buildup of men and materials in southern England reached unprecedented levels. By June 1944, over 2 million troops from the United States, Britain, Canada, and other Allied nations were stationed in the UK, preparing for the invasion. These forces included infantry, airborne units, engineers, and support personnel, all of whom would play crucial roles in the operation. The logistical preparations were staggering. Thousands of ships, landing craft, and aircraft were assembled to transport troops across the English Channel. Mulberry harbors, artificial ports designed to be floated across the Channel and assembled on the French coast, were developed to ensure a steady flow of supplies once the beachheads were secured. Meanwhile, specialized equipment, such as amphibious tanks and landing craft, were designed to tackle the unique challenges posed by the Normandy beaches. Training for the invasion was intense. Soldiers practiced amphibious landings on the coasts of Britain and Ireland, while airborne units conducted extensive parachute jumps and glider landings. The goal was to prepare these troops for the chaos and confusion they would face on D-Day, ensuring they could adapt and overcome the unexpected. On the night of June 5, 1944, the invasion force set sail across the English Channel under the cover of darkness. The night before D-Day was one of tension and anticipation. Thousands of paratroopers from the American 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions, as well as the British 6th Airborne Division, took to the skies in C-47 aircraft. Their mission was to drop behind enemy lines in Normandy, secure vital bridges, roads, and crossroads, and disrupt German reinforcements from reaching the beaches. The airborne operation was fraught with difficulties. Strong winds and heavy anti-aircraft fire scattered the paratroopers across a wide area, causing confusion and disarray. Despite these challenges, the airborne troops were able to regroup, secure key objectives, and create chaos within the German ranks, which would be vital to the success of the beach landings that followed. As dawn broke on June 6, 1944, the main amphibious assault began. Over 156,000 troops landed on 5 designated beaches along a 50-mile stretch of the Normandy coast. These beaches were code-named Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. Each beach was assigned to different national forces. American troops landed at Utah and Omaha, while British and Canadian forces took on Gold, Juno, and Sword. The landings were preceded by a massive aerial and naval bombardment intended to soften up the German defenses. Thousands of bombers and naval guns pounded the German fortifications, hoping to destroy bunkers, artillery positions, and other obstacles that could impede the landing forces. However, the effectiveness of this bombardment was mixed. In some areas, the defenses remained largely intact, leading to heavy casualties among the landing troops. At Utah Beach, the American 4th Infantry Division encountered relatively light resistance. The initial landings were slightly off target, but this worked to the division's advantage, as they avoided the most heavily defended areas. By the end of the day, the troops at Utah had secured a beachhead and began pushing inland. In contrast, Omaha Beach saw some of the fiercest fighting of the entire operation. The American 1st and 29th Infantry Divisions faced well-entrenched German troops and formidable beach obstacles. The initial waves of attackers suffered devastating losses, with many units being pinned down on the beach by machine gun and artillery fire. Despite the chaos, small groups of soldiers managed to break through the defenses, scaling the cliffs and neutralizing enemy positions. By the end of the day, the beachhead at Omaha was secure, but at a great cost. The British and Canadian landings at Gold, Juno, and Sword Beaches also met with varying degrees of resistance. At Gold Beach, the British 50th Infantry Division overcame strong German defenses to capture the town of Arromanches, which would later become the site of one of the Mulberry harbors. The Canadian 3rd Infantry Division faced intense opposition at Juno Beach, but managed to push inland and link up with British forces at Gold. At Sword Beach, the British 3rd Infantry Division advanced toward the city of Caen, a key objective for the Allies. Securing the beaches on D-Day was just the beginning. In the weeks that followed, the Allies faced fierce resistance as they sought to expand their foothold in Normandy. The region's dense hedgerows, narrow lanes, and fortified villages made for brutal close-quarters combat, particularly in the bocage, where the terrain favored the defenders. The city of Caen, a key objective, saw some of the heaviest fighting and didn't fall until mid-July after relentless Allied assaults. The capture of Cherbourg in late June provided a crucial port for the Allies, allowing them to sustain their advance. In late July, Operation Cobra broke through German lines, leading to a rapid advance across France and the encirclement of German forces in the Falaise Pocket, effectively ending significant resistance in Normandy. By the end of August 1944, the Allies had liberated Paris and were pushing the German forces back towards the borders of Germany. The success of D-Day and the subsequent Battle of Normandy paved the way for the Allied advance into Western Europe, leading to the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany in May 1945. The invasion of Normandy was one of the largest and most complex military operations in history. It demonstrated the importance of planning, coordination, and adaptability in warfare. The operation also highlighted the brutal realities of war, with significant casualties on all sides, including thousands of civilian lives lost due to the destruction brought by the fighting.